Yes, good morning, everyone. Then my voice is audible. Am I audible? Okay, thank you. Yes, in the now we'll continue with the same embedded system, the components. See, in the previous class, we have discussed so many components, that is sensors and actuators in that 7-segment display, LEDs, optocouplers, uh, so many other components that we have discussed. Now we are going to discuss about the connection, the communication between the several subsystems in an embedded system, or how internally it is going to communicate the different components or different subsystems or different units, or you can call it as different entities, how they are going to communicate, what is the protocol they follow for communication, or what is the procedure they follow. Yesterday they talked about some protocol. I think you remember internet, below that WAN, MAN, LAN, below that there is PAN, personal area networks, below that onboard interface, on below that it is on chip protocols. Okay, we are talking about this as on board now. We are talking about on board. Okay, on the board, how they are going to communicate between the two entities, how they are going to communicate, that we are going to discuss. There are two things are there. One is onboard communication interface, one more is external communication interface. External is nothing but from a computer to a mobile, or a mobile to a mobile, one system to the another system, that is external communication. Okay, it is on board means from one IC to the another IC. Okay, from one peripheral to the another peripheral, that we connect on the board, it is called on-board communication interface. From one device to the other device, that is Bluetooth, infrared, LAN technologies, that is between the two systems. That can be a laptop, computers, mobiles, or any other devices, routers, or it can be any other devices. Okay, that is external communication interface. First, we'll start with the onboard communication interface. Okay, what is this onboard? Onboard is, it is exactly the communication on the printed circuit board, PCB. How they are going to communicate, what is the protocol they follow, what are the different types of connections we do, and then what we are going, how we are going to interact. Okay, oh, got it. The serial interfaces that we are going to discuss here is five different interfaces. One is I2C, serial peripheral interface, UART, one wire technology, or the parallel bus interface. These are the five different way of connecting the devices and how they communicate, how they send the data, how they exchange the addresses, all those things that we are going to discuss now. Is it clear what is the uh, background about this topic? What is this onboard communication interface? Okay. Now we'll start with I2C. This is the common, the famous technology that was developed by the Philips in 1980s itself. In 1980s, okay, and they have advanced it. What type of technology is, or what this bus, I2 bus, if it is, we call it as I2 bus, that connects between the devices, okay, or the components, or the different units. Okay, that I2 bus, that is synchronous. Synchronized means with the clock. If you use the word synchronous means there is a clock. Okay, synchronous, bidirectional, between the two entities you can send from device 1 to device 2, or device 2 to device 1. Half duplex, half duplex is At a time, one device can send. If device 1 is sending to device 2, 2 cannot send it to 1. After the completion of data transfer, the 2 can send it to device 1. Okay, that is called half duplex. And it is two-wire serial interface bus. Serially, you have to send one by one bit, two wires, one is for clock, another is for data. Whether it is clear what is I square bus? It is just a bidirectional, synchronous, half duplex, two-wire bus. Where you are going to connect, it will helpful for the connection between this microprocessor or microcontroller and the peripheral chips. Long back, they used to connect in the television sets. But here, now they are going to connect with any other peripheral components. As I said in the beginning, there are two lines. They are called as SCL, the serial clock line. Another one is serial data line. Okay, serial data across line. Okay, SCL and SCA. Just if you see the word C means clock, remember D means data. These lines, they are responsible for generating the clock inputs or transmitting the data between the devices. Is it clear, the background, SCL and SDA? Now we'll discuss how it is being exchanged between the devices. If there are two devices, usually the device which we sends the data, that we call it as a master. The other one who receives, that we call it as a slave. Okay. Here the master devices, it is responsible for sending the data and also generating the clocks. What about the slave devices? It will wait for the commands from the masters and also responds the commands which are generated from the master. Both can send and receive the data. Both master and slave devices, both can be act as a transmitter and both can be act as a receiver. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಡಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಳಿಸಬೇಕು, ಸ್ಲೇವ್ ಡಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ. Both the devices can become a master. Sorry, both the devices can transmit or receive. If we use this I square bus, can we have multiple masters devices? Yes, it supports multiple master devices. If you see this diagram, it is very clear how it looks, I square bus. See, this is a type of bus. This is a type of bus. This bus, it can be external or it can be on the board. Okay, this can be on the board. Directly they will provide you the slots. You can directly go and connect the components. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮೈಕ್ರೋಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ನ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು, ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲಿ ಆ ಬಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಲೂಬಹುದು, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್. ಹೌ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ this which one hard disk to the board through the SATA cable. That cable you used to connect, right? That external bus, even that can be possible. Okay, see here, this is a master which is a microprocessor and the controller, and there are two slaves. Okay, it can be memory. See here, they say EEPROM, that can be a memory, or it can be another peripheral, some clock or some alarm. It can be anything. Okay, this is a bus. It has two lines, clock line and SDA line. See, all the other devices, it has two lines, clock line and data line. Okay, now what we have to understand is how the data is being initiated from the master and how it is being received to the slave, or how the slave sends the data to the master, because both can act as a transmitter and a receiver. Okay, do you have any doubts till now? Do you have any doubts till now? Okay. Okay, this is a master now, this is a slave. See, don't always assume that microprocessor or a microcontroller, it should be a master. the other devices can also become master. Okay, but what is the role of this master is the master is going to generate the clocks. Okay, this is synchronous, that is why clock is required. Okay, now we'll discuss this the data transfer step by step. Now, first step, what are the sequences? First, the master devices, it is going to send, it is going to set the clock line to high. Means the clock line is high now, 1. See, this clock input, you can directly map it with the clock input, what you have seen in the uh, previous ADE lab. Clock input ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು yellow pins connect ಮಾಡಿ per second ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ blink ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ನೋಡಿ, on off, the same clock. Okay, now whenever this clock line is set to high, now whenever it is at the high, the data line, the master device, it will so change the SDF into low. It sends the low input. That indicates now if the SDA is low, that indicates now there is a data transfer. SCL line is high and SDA is low, then it is a start condition for data transfer. Suddenly, when you change the SDA to high, SCL to high itself and SDA to high, there is a stop of data transfer. Okay. Now what is the condition? SCL line is high, clock input, SDA is low. Now we have to transfer the data. Next step, the master device, if it wants to send to the slave, means it should know the address. Then that address, it can be 7-bit or 10-bit. That address, it will be sent. There is only one line, that is SDA line, through which only you have to send. That 7 bits or 10-bit address that will be sent. When you send that address, there are so many slave devices which are being connected to that. See, there are so many devices like this, some 10 devices may be connected to this bus. In that situation, what happens? That address will be matched with the address which is already been given to the slave. Each slave has its address. It is going to compare. Okay. That address will reach each slave through SDA. That address which is been sent from the master, that will reach the slave one through SDA. Which addresses matches, only that slave is going to respond. The other slave will leave the line. They are not going to communicate. Now, the next step is the master's device is going to send 1 bit. That can be 0 or 1. That 1 indicates it is going to do some read operation from the memory. Like example, from the processor, it wants to do some write operation from the memory. So, sorry, read operation 1. If it is if the bit value is 0, means write operation. It is based on the requirement the master will send. Now, what is the job of the master? It has sent and it will wait for the acknowledgement. Now, the slave device, it has to, by getting the address and the bit value, it is going to respond by sending the acknowledgement bit. Once the acknowledgement bit is received by the master, it indicates that the slave is ready to do the operation, to read operation or write operation. Next, what it does, it will send the 8-bit data over the same line, SDA line. In the same line, it will send the data. Once upon receive the data transfer, what is the job of the slave? It has to send the acknowledgement bit. Once that acknowledgement is received by the master, it will change the SDA to high. That indicates stop condition. This simple story. It is just a story. Is it clear? Or do you have any doubts with this story? See, it is half duplex. When it is half duplex, only one device can send the data. Once that is complete, from the other side, you can send once again the data. That you should remember. I'll repeat once again the story in less than 1 minute. See, this is a master device, which is a microprocessor. This is a EEPROM. First, what it will do, it will set the clock to high. The clock is high. It will set the SDA to low. That indicates that now it is going to initiate the data transfer. Okay, now there is a SDA in one. This is low. Now it is going to send the address. That address it will reach this slave 1, slave 2, slave 3, slave 10. Which address it is going to match with the slave, only that is going to respond, other will leave this SDA. Means they are not going to communicate. Next, it is going to send one bit that indicates whether I will do read operation or write operation. Okay. From slave 1, it will respond with the acknowledgement bit that everything it will happen over the SDA itself. Once it receives the acknowledgement bit, then it will start sending the 8-bit data. Once again, it will respond with the acknowledgement bit. Then it will set the SDA to high. That indicates I have stopping the data transfer. Is this clear? ಈ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇನ್ನೂ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? Okay, I assume that. Okay. The next interface is serial peripheral interface. This is also another type of bus. ಈಗೇನು ಇದು ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಬಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, where you send the data from one component on the board. I'm talking about completely on the motherboard. PCB, printed circuit board ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ. ಪ್ರಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ವೈರ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೂ ಡೇಟಾ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಸಿ, ಯಾವ್ದಾರ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ನೋಡಿ. You just see the lines, that wires, that will be the bus. That will be the bus through which the data will be sent. PCB board ಗಳು ಯಾವ್ದಾರ ತಗೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ನೋಡಿ, ತುಂಬಾ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ಡೇಟಾ, ಅದೇ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗೋದು. See, this is another bus, serial peripheral interface. See, what is the problem with this? See, the data rate, if you speed, if you have some of the buses which supports standard mode 100 kilobits per second, in the fast mode 400 kilobits, or high speed mode 3.4, you have very high speed which is of 5 megabits per second. The data exchange will happen using this technology, I2C bus. Okay, this is somewhat slower. Now we'll go for the faster one, serial peripheral interface. The previous one, I2 bus, that was introduced by Philips. Now this bus, serial peripheral interface bus, this was introduced by Motorola. What is this bus? It is full duplex. See, it is full duplex and synchronous clock is there. One more, 4 wires. The previous I2 is 2 wires. It is a serial interface bus. Okay, it's a single master multi-slave system. Single master multi-slave means it is not mandatory you should have only one master. Multiple master can be there, but only one master can be active at a time. So many devices masters ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. It is a single master multi-slave system. I said there are 4 wires. Which are those 4 wires? MOSI, MISO, SCLK and SS. Master out, slave in. Master in, slave out. Serial clock, slave select. See, what are these lines, these buses? You see this diagram, you can understand. See this, MOSI, SCL, MOSO. See, these are the lines through which you send some data. master out, slave in. That should be you have to use. Before that, in is there. Those two registers are in these buses. There are two registers. One is control register, another one is status register. ಆ ಬಸ್ಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು? ಸಿ ವೈ ದೇ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ the control register some configuration parameters, baud rate, signal rate, how much at a time or per second, what should be the signal, whether it should be once per 1 second, one clock signal should be there on and off, or 10 times or 100 times. Some information, hardware related configuration information, that will be there in the control register. And about the transmission and the reception, whether the data is being transmitted or received, that information, the status register, these two are there in the SPI bus that you can configure. Now we should start communicating. See, this actually it works like in the same way of the shift register. I think you have heard this shift register in the AD. The data, it is going to shift from one register to the another register. If you remember that, it shifts from one register to the other register. In that way, it is going to work. See, this size of the shift register, where you have seen we used to write in terms of 4 or 8 bits. Here we say it in terms of 8 bits. You can send 8 bits or you can send 16 bit. It is in the multiple of 8. Whenever you want to send the data from masters to slave, the data will be sent on this line, MOS line. MOS line. Now the data will be sent on this MO, master out, slave in. Now this connected to master out, slave in. See here, the master in, slave out, that will be connected to this. Even this slave also can send the data. The working, it is almost the same, but the different pins are being used here. MOSI, MOSI, MOSI pins, and one more clock pin. But for what purpose it is useful? What is not there compared to the previous one, I square, and what is the advantage? I square ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಗೂ ಇದರಲ್ಲೂ ಏನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಇದೆ? See how the slave is to inform the master in the previous case whether it is ready to receive. ಐ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಲೇವ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿತ್ತು ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ಗೆ, ನಾನು ರೆಡಿ ಇದೀನಿ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಅಂತ? ನೋಡೋಣ. Yes, that is the answer. Good, Tanavi. It's an acknowledgement bit that is going to be sent from the slave to the master. They have to send. This acknowledgement technology is not there here. There is no confirmation. But the advantage here is, in terms of in terms of streams, you can send the data. Why? You have a separate lines. You have a separate lines for MOSI, MISO. If you have separate lines, you can send more data here. There it was only 2 lines in that one clock and one data. Here you have 4 lines to select the devices. Separate line is there, and for clock you have separate, and other 2 for communication. Everything is there. In that way, if you check the speed of data transfer, in this it is very good. There is one more third technology called UART, Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. It is the easiest technology, easiest in the implementation and also in understanding. See, in this asynchronous, if you see the word asynchronous, there is no clock signal for sending and receiving the data. Okay. Then what is the agreement between these two? Agreement is, there is a predefined agreement is there between the sender and the receiver. What is the agreement? I am going to say you have to send 5 bits per second. The sender also should send 5 bits per second. Even the receiver also should receive only 5 bits per second. In the same way from other side. And also if I send, the starting bit will be always 1 and last stop bit will be 0. The same protocol will be followed by the other receiver also. Some communication is there, some communication settings that will be done between both the transmitter and the receiver, and that should be same, that is identical now. Even and for the start and the stop of the communication, there we have used the special bits that will be added at the front and the back. That is, LSB will indicate the start bit and MSB will indicate stop bit. If you see the diagram, that will be very clear. See, this is one device, this is another device. See here, the transmitting end that will be connected to the receiving end of the other device. This transmitting end will be connected to the receiving end of the other device. These two devices, they have agreed upon the baud rate, number of parameters, start bit and the stop bit, everything that is identical. Both will follow the same rules. Now this technology, it was being used in the IBM PCs. They use it. Even those, you have to use it for handshaking. Handshaking anta odidira networks alli odirtira ankondi TCP/IP alli. Before you start sending the data, there should be an agreement between the sender and the receiver. That agreement we are going to call it as handshaking. ನಾವಿಬ್ರು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ನೀನ್ ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಓಕೆ, ನಾನು ರೆಡಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೀವು ಕಳಿಸಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಶೇಕ್. That information exchange that is going to happen before the data transfer. For that also you can use this. See, this start bit, whenever the start bit comes, the receiver is going to understand that start bit andre assumption and 1 anta. That indicates that it is going to, the data is going to about to arrive. And also we have fixed the number of bits per second. If I say 10 bits per second, if I say transmitter, on the receiving side also, it should wait. The time slot available for that is 1/10th second for each bit at the receiving side. If we do in that way, for 1 second, the receiver also will get 10 bits. That is called as baud rate setting. ಈ ಬಾಡ್ ರೇಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ವಿಡ್ತ್ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡೋದು. ಸೆಂಡರ್ ಏನ್ ಕಳ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, 10 ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಕಳ್ಸುತ್ತೆ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡಿಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಸೀವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, 1 ಬಿಟ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1/10th ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, ಅಷ್ಟ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಬಿಟ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದೇ ತರ ಆದ್ರೆ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಆ 10 ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ರಿಸೀವರ್ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಬಿಟ್, with that there is some more information is there. There is a transmitting device, it is going to add the parity bit. Parity bit is nothing but whatever the data we send, assume that if I send some 10 bits, first bit ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ start bit, last bit ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ stop bit, ಇನ್ನು ಉಳಿದಿರೋದೆಷ್ಟು 8 bits. That 8 bits we are going to perform the XOR operation and we get one parity bit at the end that we are going to attach once again. to the original data. At the receiving side, what we do, we remove the start bit, we remove the stop bit, we get back the parity bit and do once again the reverse operation, parity operation data ಏನ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ parity check ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Some XOR operation we'll do on the bits. If we get the same parity bit, then what is the meaning? Data is not been corrupted. ಸೆಂಡರ್ ಇಂದ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಯಾವ ಪ್ಯಾರಿಟಿ ಬಿಟ್ ಬಂತೋ ಅದೇ ಪ್ಯಾರಿಟಿ ಬಿಟ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ್ಲೂ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಯಾರಿಟಿ ಬಿಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಚೆಕ್ ದಿ ಪ್ಯಾರಿಟಿ ಬಿಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಸಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಆರ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಆನ್ ದ ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಆರ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಪ್ಯಾರಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಿಟಿ ಬಿಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ರಿಸೀವರ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, then we remove all those start, stop and parity bit and we send that data to a peripherals. ಎಲ್ಲರೇ ಆ ಪ್ಯಾರಿಟಿ ಬಿಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೇ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಡೇಟಾ ಕರಪ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ದಟ್ ಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಡಿವೈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಸೆಂಡ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ. ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಸೆಂಡ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಫ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ is 8 bit, it has to attach start bit, it has to attach stop bit and also parity bit. ಇಷ್ಟನ್ನು ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕು. This is how UART will work. Okay, we'll discuss this one wire interface in the next class. Okay. Those who have doubts, you can ask, and or else you can send your attendance and then you can exit.